Hey, what's up, guys? I hope everybody's having a great afternoon. I hope that your evening is better than your afternoon and your night is better than your evening. Today I want to talk to you about something that's very, very important for all of us to put into play and into practice in our lives, and that is mending the mind. Mending the mind. When I say mending the mind, I am saying that we should take time to repair the rips and the tears that we have in our minds as a result of certain memories and certain thoughts that have very violently ripped through our minds in certain seasons and certain experiences in life. There are things that we've gone through in life. Some will tear the mind. It could have been something that you've experienced in your childhood. It could have been something you experienced in a relationship or in your marriage or in your professional career. But they leave rips and they leave tears. So there's of a necessity that every so often we go back and we mend our mind, because these little rips and tears can determine how we look at things or how we remember things whenever we're recalling or reminiscing of certain things. These rips and tears are the things that cause someone to look back at a relationship that could have been a horrific relationship, but because you've gone through so much in your life and you have all of these rips and tears, you look back at the relationship and say, well, it wasn't that bad, and you end up going back into it. It's because your mind have not been mended. We say mend, that word mend, it means to repair. It means to bring back to a healthy state or strength. So I'm saying that you have to mend your mind, because whenever your mind goes through some of the trauma that the mind goes through, your mind goes through trauma more than you imagine or more than what you're aware of. And subconsciously you know, but you don't have it in retrospect. And when you do look back in retrospect, those tears and those rips that are in the mind affect the way you see things that you've gone through. As for some of you, it may be looking back at how you probably weren't raised by your biological parents. And growing up, your childhood was normal, but whenever you became old enough to realize that you weren't being raised by your real mother or real father, it began to have an effect on your mind. And you begin to look back at that and say, well, I didn't have the best childhood. When in fact, your childhood could have been decent. But it's because you have so many rips and tears. But if you mend your mind, you may be able to look back and say, you know what? My life could have been a lot worse had I been with my biological mother, or had I stayed with my biological father, or if my parents would have been together, it could have been worse. Maybe this was the best thing for me, that my life ended up this way. But you'll only get that healthy retrospect once your mind is mended. Whenever you mend the mind, you create the strength that is necessary and the health that is necessary for the future that awaits you. You're getting ready to enter into the greatest times of your life, no doubt. I believe it with everything that's in my mind. You are about to enter into the greatest seasons of your life. And I think that your mind have got to be healthy and strong enough to be able to handle everything that the future has for you. It will be a terrible thing to enter into a future of greatness, but your mind is so weak until you collapse under the weight of greatness. You don't want that to happen. Some people are very talented, but because they have not mended their minds, under pressure, they crumble. And it's because they have so much in their mind that needs to be repaired, that needs to be cared for, or needs to be restored. Interesting, one of the words for mending in the word origin is the word repent, which means to rethink. It means to think about it. Think about the same thing, but think about it from a different perspective, or think about it a different way. You need to begin to go back and mend your mind this way. How do you mend your mind? You rethink things. Rethink the thing that was so horrible and so horrific to you. Go back and rethink and say, you know what? As bad as I thought it was, it didn't have the power to affect me. It seemed or appeared to be devastating at that time, but it wasn't powerful enough to destroy me. And you begin to mend the rips and the tears in your mind, the gaps, the holes that your experiences in life have placed upon your mind and have left in your mind. The scars are healed once you begin to mend the mind, because many of us only concentrate on the scars that we have in our heart, but the scars that you have in your mind have a greater effect than the scars that you have in your heart. If your mind is mended, whenever you're feeling certain emotions from the heart and having certain feelings from the heart, a healthy mind, a strong and mended mind will be able to accept that which should be accepted from your emotions, and reject that should be ejected or rejected, and ejected also. It'll kick it out of there. And so what you want to do is you want to make sure that your mind is repaired. Refuse to go another day this week. Refuse to go any further in your life without taking time to mend your mind. You're a great person. You're filled with greatness. Your potential is yet undiscovered. But your mind must be able to handle your potential, because your potential is going to exit the body through the mind in the form of a thought or the form of an idea. But if your mind isn't strong enough to hold the thoughts of your potential, then you'll never see your full potential maximized. I want to see you do it. I want to see you be great. I want to see you go back and mend your mind. All the little rips and all the little tears in your mind, it devalues the mind, or the mentality, should I say, and it causes the mentality to be lessened. And all of a sudden, where you were very valuable, your thoughts were valuable and worth so much. Whenever you have all of these little rips and tears that have not been mended, all of a sudden the worth of the mentality drops. Your mentality begins to drop, and you start seeing things the way that they appear beneath the standard